Hello, welcome to I'm Angry Podcast. You're on with Mike. Sitting next to me is Matt.
What's up?
Over there is Johnny.
Hi.
And across the table is the other Mike.
Hello.
Watching videos.
What do we? Is this?
Doing?
Like a new intro.
Was this for the?
Hold on.
Wait.
I'm trying.
Give him a second.
Give me a second. I couldn't catch up fast.
Should we restart?
You finally started on time.
Time.
What is?
Time is on my side.
Except if you're Johnny, apparently. Why don't you start us off, Johnny? What makes you angry about time? It's not on your
Well, all
side.
right. Well, this week we're going to talk about time.
I was gonna say, dude.
I didn't know we
Well,
started.
tell them what we're talking
sorry.
about.
Give the introduction.
All right. Let's just
I'm not gonna redo the hello.
No,
Hello
just tell them
again.
what we're
All right,
talking
good.
about.
Today we're gonna be talking about, I guess, time and the perception.
That's a good one.
Particularly, what I'm thinking about is the unfair, in my mind, passage of time, like leisure activity versus work or any other, general busybody activity, sort of time
Right.
spent. And yeah, I think Johnny should kick this one off because this was
I will say, I think right away, you and me are gonna agree.
Probably.
He's gonna be mad, but Ass here is gonna be like, oh, no. He's gonna be so against us.
100%.
Right.
It's the same. It's the same. It's like similar to work.
Yeah,
like, it's just
exactly.
time.
So I was saying earlier, and I'll say it again. I don't like the way time flies and then time slows down for things you're doing.
No, I don't like that either.
You go to work, an 8-9 hour day feels like 16. I can look at a clock and be like, oh, it's 2 o'clock, and I feel like an hour, and it's like 2:15. But then I'll sit down, watch TV, play a video game, hang out, do fun things. It's 5 o'clock. Next thing, it's 11, and I'm like, where did that go? It seems to always be the things you dislike. I think more or less, because even when I run, I don't really like to run, but I run, right? But I'll run and I'll look and I'll be like, oh, I have 3 minutes left. And that 3 minutes, I'll even stare at the clock if I'm on the treadmill, and that minute, I'll be like, that had to be 6 minutes. Had to be. But it's not, obviously.
I've had a real weird sensation with this recently because I've been trying to run at the gym, but I run on a treadmill. I hate running, but I go at night and I'll put on the late hockey game with the playoffs, the 9 o'clock game, because I go at 10. And I only have, I'm like, okay, run for 4, whatever. I'm doing half a mile, run 4 minutes. And I'm watching the game, and it's like the time's not going anywhere. The game's going on,
Exactly.
and I'm like, it's still only been a minute.
Exactly.
And
That's
I
my
guess
problem.
it's always, that's actually, it's
Time is
only
fake.
been a minute in hockey. But I'm like, if I was watching this game normally,
It
that
would've
would have
gone
been
much
5
faster.
minutes.
That would have been, that's
You
what
know?
I'm saying. It seems
It's so
forever.
weird, man. It's odd because it feels to me
Time
like a
flies
real.
when you're having fun.
No,
It's
like
a
I
real
know,
thing.
and I know it's
The
just
comment's
perception.
true.
It is
But it feels
completely
so.
perception.
It feels so real. I
does.
understand that it's it's not real. Time doesn't actually slow down. I get that.
Does it
But
not?
Man,
Does it
feels,
not?
It functions. I mean, to you, it does. Right? It does. I'm even thinking when I go, I take a bathroom break at work,
terms.
10 minutes, and I'll wait if it's not, because I don't like going at an hour, because then I feel like people know I'm not actually going to the bathroom. So I'm wait until 3, or wait until 3:02. It's 2:52. And so 10 minutes, and I'm sitting there watching the clock. Oh my god.
Goes
And then I go and I take a 10-minute bathroom break, and I feel like by the time I sit down, it's been 6 minutes.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh my god, I barely.
So I have in one of my old jobs, I would try to kill time so much. It just took forever for the day to go. And everybody was in what you're saying. I used to go to the bathroom forever. And I would go in the stall, right? Sit down. I wasn't pooing or anything. I'd put my head against the
hang
stall and take a nap. take a nap.
I don't do
and
that.
And I would
I think 10 minutes.
I would no, but that's the
Mine's
pro-
like a smoke break. I feel like if smokers
Yeah,
get to go out
exactly.
every
You
get
hour
the
for
same
5
amount
minutes,
of time.
I should be able to go to the bathroom.
Well, no,
and just
but
hang out.
I used to think I dozed off. I would be exhausted of it. And oh, that was a good 15, 20 minutes. It was 2-3 minutes. I was like, how is that possible?
Mm-hmm.
It was, what?
Grabbing the mic.
But what about your
Oh.
time over a long period?
What do you mean?
Do you feel like your life has gone fast?
So,
Well, that's supposed to be another thing, right?
so yeah. So what
you
I've
go-
learned with that, to me at least, life, in the years that we've lived, it feels long. It has felt long. It doesn't feel as quick. I mean, maybe no. So, but the days go fast and slow.
Do you feel like
It all-
your life
but what I've
is
realized,
going by faster?
but
feel
the
like it's
year,
getting older?
It's speeding up for
the
sure.
year goes faster to me. And I think the week goes slow because you work all week, right? But then I'll be like,
Yeah, the weekend is.
yeah, and the weekend's fair, and then I'll be like, shit, it's over a year already. Like, so the year flies by, even though, and I think, like you're saying, like when you're a kid, I guess you don't have no perception and you have nothing to do. It seemed forever.
Seemed like it was forever.
Yeah. I remember
Right?
summer break when you had like the last 2 weeks off, and that still took forever. I get a 2 week work thing. It's like that.
Yeah,
It's
I
like-
I had a full week break like a month ago. And I took off from work and went down to Florida. It was like at the end of it, I was like, I might as well have not done that.
Yeah.
Like just because it went by, it was fun and
goes so
everything,
fast.
but it was so fast. I was like, man, and that's one, especially when I'm on vacation from work, I'm thinking about it every day, and I'm like, oh my god, it's Wednesday, like already. You know, I'm like, oh my god, like it was just a minute ago. It was Monday. I'm like, oh, we just got here. Awesome, we got a whole week. Now it's like Wednesday night. I'm like, it's pretty much
Yeah.
like the week's almost over.
So-
I'm going home.
I was hoping for a life slowdown as I got older.
And no, it gets
but
faster.
it speeds up.
Gets
Like
faster.
summer hits us, it comes and goes so fast.
Summer is so
And I
quick
think
because
part
you
of, like,
enjoy it.
You know, I bookmarked my summer, the start of my summer with Maine.
You have a
Oh,
calendar.
right,
We
right,
go to
yeah.
Maine.
July,
You
yeah.
know,
You have like a whole calendar
we used to
of
have a
summer.
whole calendar. Which
That's
was,
why your summer flies
that
by.
was
That's the worst.
Just
that was
booked up,
crazy.
yeah.
Yeah,
You
'cause
can't
there's
do that.
always Something to do.
No.
But from the start until school like I still gauge it when school starts again.
I
even
still
though
do
it doesn't
too,
matter
yeah.
to me. But it seems to go by so much
do-
faster.
it does
now.
go so
You know,
quick.
Like I opened up the pool.
Right.
Before you know it, I'll be closing the pool. That's the way I feel.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'll use it a few times.
You know, one
Yeah,
thing I
it's
have
crazy.
to do, you know, like, again, my weekends fly by. Like we said, my weekdays slow by. I go very slow. I've had to start living, and I think I said this in another podcast in a weird way, but I live thinking it's the weekend all week. So Monday, Tuesday, Saturday, Sunday, Wednesday.
Oh,
and
do
I,
it like 2 days
and
at
I
a
have to
time?
do that. And it's the only way that makes it go slightly faster. Or it's it's only Tuesday. Oh my God, it's only Wednesday.
I just try to get to Wednesday. Monday and Tuesday are slow.
I get to Thursday.
And then
I
on
gotta
Wednesday,
get to Thursday.
No, I mean like on Wednesday, I'm like now I'm on the downhill slide. I mean,
No, I
someday,
don't feel
but
that way.
Once I get to Wednesday, I'm like the weekend's coming. Monday, Tuesday, I feel like no hope.
Oh no. Yeah. I just hate time. And it's sucks.
I think the speeding up thing is interesting because I don't know if this is like I guess none of this is like scientific. I don't think it's it's perception, so it's not like a thing. But I believe the speeding up as you get older is like your brain has so much. When you're a kid, you've only been alive, let's say 5 years.
Right.
So you only have 5 years of time elapsed in your entire, collective brain, whatever. So as you get older, the older and older you get, the more time you have. So it's like it becomes a year becomes a smaller percentage of your life. So it's not that it's faster.
Right.
You know what I mean? But it
less
just accounts for
significant.
less of a part of your life.
Yeah.
I think that's partly like already, it's fast. Like now, months like roll by. I think it's just because and partially I think it's just because of like the job I like the work that we all have similar-ish jobs of like 5 days a week, whatever.
Not me.
Where it just flies by. No, but I mean it's just like next week,
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
you look and I'm like, oh, it's April or it's May.
Yeah.
When I'm like,
So you
I
think
just remember it being
you feel like
2024.
you feel like those days are slow, but when you look back, it really
All of a
went
sudden
very
it's
fast.
May. It's like,
Like
almost,
we're already in
almost
May.
halfway through
We're
the year.
already in May,
Yeah,
which is
we're pretty
crazy.
much halfway through
Ridiculous.
the year,
Yeah.
You know,
Like that nothing. I feel
Yeah.
like and stuff's happened. I've
Stuff's happened.
I've
You've done
traveled. I've done
things,
things, and I
but
still
you
I look
just
back.
feel
I'm
like, what
it
the
was
heck
just December. I just remember like being on January 1st going, oh, I'm gonna forget I wrote a 2023
right.
kind of thing, and now it's June and I have not. It's like not even in my head.
Yeah.
Time's been going
I think
fast for me
time
recently.
has sped up since things in the world happened. I do. I really do.
I think like COVID too.
I don't
That's
know.
another
Oh, you
thing,
mean like scientifically?
Scientifically,
Well, no,
I
like,
think things change.
You know what
I
throws me
swear.
off?
You think when the Earth
I
got
don't
the
know.
globe got
Maybe.
I think so, but you know
Spinning
what else is
faster?
weird? If you're like, for instance, like the presidency is coming up again,
Right.
and I'll be like, that was 4 years ago.
Right.
Like
Yeah,
this
that's
Muppet
crazy.
came into this
Yes,
place. I'll be like,
exactly.
that's
Exactly.
or like when you talk about like COVID, I'm like, there's no way that was that many years ago. That throws my mind.
I agree.
Like,
I agree.
it's-
It's like things.
Yeah, but it's funny too
Interesting.
because
When did Walter Cronkite die?
I have no idea.
And I know this is
Walter
Think about it,
Cronkite.
this is kind of similar.
I don't
so
know.
how old was Walter Cronkite when we were kids? When do you remember? Like my grandfather used to watch Walter Cronkite every night religiously. He was old, right?
Religiously.
So you're talking. I grew up 70s, 80s, right? You know when he died?
No. Recently though, I remember it being a thing like the
Like
2019.
2007.
Oh wow.
Now
I
that's
thought it was
many.
later than-
It's
oh
many
wait, no,
years
I'm thinking
ago,
of what's
Right, but
like,
it seems
you wouldn't have
it seems
expected,
newer.
right?
Yeah.
years ago.
Because I have that
Dick
thing,
Clark.
and I don't know if you
Oh.
want to talk about that here, but me with celebrities and dying,
Oh yeah, you mentioned that
people
once.
people I think are dead
Are
are
alive.
still alive. Because I'm like, how could that person still be alive? They're old as freaking.
They'd be old
dirt.
as hell. Yeah.
And then people I think should be alive are dead already.
No, but that too, the
that's
same
more,
thing.
That's that can happen.
And that
Yeah.
goes slow too, because when like my parent died, Like the first year seemed dragged out. The second, but now it's like, wow,
Years ago.
they've been dead that long. Like,
Right.
oh my god.
It is weird certain things too, because thinking about like when you mentioned COVID, that feels like it still just happened.
Right.
But
Like we just got
but
out
I
of it.
graduated in COVID,
Yeah.
and that feels like it was a lifetime ago. Like I remember my
Yes.
last couple months at school, like through like when COVID was happening.
Right.
That feels like it was forever ago. But COVID itself feels like it just. And I know it dragged into 2021, so it is kind of
Yeah, but
closer.
still.
But really, it's at least 2 full years. I'd say it's been like there's no restrictions on anything. At least you know what I mean. That like
Did we ever
people still talk
COVID?
about it.
What a strange time it
We
really
didn't.
was.
No,
when
I don't
you
think so.
about it.
But
I
I,
don't
think,
think so.
skipped. I think I skipped 2022 in my head most of the time. I think that's why it feels like it was so much closer.
But
Like
you got a problem anyway,
I don't really remember.
because you are taking the longest of every kid I know to age.
That's true.
I
That's
don't
true.
know what's going on with you.
Yeah.
Explain.
He's
no.
done. He
They-
does
they say
leaps.
it forever.
He was
I thought
8.
he should
He
have
was
been
8 for
21
like
several years
ten
ago.
years,
Yeah,
and then all of a
ridiculous.
sudden he was just like 14.
Yeah, yeah.
And then he stayed at 14 until now. And then,
That's
well,
your
not now,
immaturity.
until how old he is now. And now he's been 20 and a half for like 6 years.
So Daniela is, same thing as him. She
Yeah.
just seems to be aging very slowly.
Very slowly. I
you
agree.
know?
There are
Everybody
people
else,
like
all
that,
my
But then,
though.
other-
I don't
but
know.
John
all
and
my other
Millie,
nieces and nephews hit
I was gonna
21
say, there's
right away.
certain
I feel like they aged very quickly.
You know what it is though? When you're really small, there's a lot of growth
Yeah,
to
that's
change,
true.
and then
Lot
you
of
get to a
development.
certain like middle
They
age,
can hit an
and,
age too, where all of a sudden
Kinda
you're gonna say, what the
plateaus.
and
heck?
then you
Like,
stop
How did they
aging.
get to be like?
Yeah,
How are you already 17? That's what's gonna happen.
I
Right.
feel
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
I feel like Daniela aged quickly until last year. That's how I felt like. Once you got to like junior in high school, then I felt like she should be out already. You know what I mean? She should be in college
Yeah.
now, right?
Why? Yeah.
it just feels like.
Yeah. That's I. Yeah. I
But
don't
I
know.
feel like she aged quickly for the most part.
you know what else is really
But it's
bad
because
about
all my
the
other
time
cousins
and
age
thing?
normal to me.
Really?
Like
Me too.
everybody else.
Me too.
Like even I mean George.
Well, yeah, but
Like
we,
you guys aren't far in
but
age,
we
and
have
I'm
a
not far in
pretty-
age from either of you.
Right.
We have a pretty significant gap compared to like
Everybody else, yeah, I guess that's
everybody
true.
else.
I guess he is like he's closer to my age, but I feel like he aged up normally.
Right.
And then you were always not.
What else do you hate about time? Besides that, it's,
I hate-
Besides that, it's making you older.
I hate time. I don't think we should live by a clock. That's all I'm just saying. I said it before. I think you should do things until you're done doing them. Going to work, I'm tired of it. I'm going home now. I do it at home. You know, I basically like I'll cook dinner a few times a week, and I judge how I feel is how long I want to cook. Some things I'll make they're longer. Some things it's a quick thing. Everything should be. That's another thing actually. It's weird. Microwaves they seem to take forever. 2 minutes on a microwave is really
It's a long
long.
time.
You gotta walk away from it.
When you're anxious to get that whatever it is out of there,
long.
2 minutes could be forever.
You
really
You gotta
is.
walk away from it.
Really long.
Because by the time
such a
you
weird
even
thing.
walk away,
It's like anything. Anything
Oh.
you're waiting for,
No, but
it
it,
just
it
slows
affects
it
you in
down.
such a real way.
And I
That's
will
so
tell
odd.
you, I will tell you the worst of all the times that we're talking about of time. The worst thing in time, the fastest moving of time, the worst is sleeping. Sleeping is like that.
Oh yeah.
yeah.
You can go to sleep for 15 hours and it felt like a half a second.
Yeah, but no, it is
Sometimes.
crazy. I get the
No.
opposite too. When I wake up in the morning, if I snooze on my alarm, I'll only sleep for 5 more minutes. But I feel like I got a whole nother,
A whole nother sleep.
Really?
whole nother
Like,
rest.
I could
day.
have-
I'll do
I-
that 3 times in the
I
morning.
can have a really good solid sleep and it feels that way. It went really fast.
Yeah.
Right.
But then there's some nights I'm up and tossing and turning. It feels like
Well,
the
yeah,
night-
but
the
you're
night was
up.
forever.
You're up. Right.
You know what I mean?
Because you're tossing it right.
Yeah.
Also,
Tossing
dreams
and turning.
though, which I mean makes sense
I don't
because that's
remember
way
my
off.
dreams
No,
a
I remember
lot,
some.
but
I don't remember all of them. But what's weird is like sometimes, and I'm sure it's just the memory of it, not the dream itself, because or whatever. I don't really know the process of that. But like sometimes I'll feel like I was in a dream for like years.
The dream was.
I'll wake
yeah.
up and I'm like,
Oh,
what was that?
that-
Like a whole bunch of stuff happened.
Yeah.
And other
Dreams-
times I'll have
dreams
what I
have their own
consider
time code.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because I'll have a
It's
dream
completely different.
that is like a full dream,
Full
but
dream.
it's like 2 minutes.
Yeah.
But it felt like a full,
Oh, yeah.
fully fleshed out dream.
Yeah, 'cause
And then
dreams
other
aren't
times
that
I like
long.
live in the world.
Right.
For,
Because
like,
dreams are
weeks.
not that long. Aren't they supposed to be like the last
think
few
they're
seconds
only-
before you wake or something?
No, I think you have like cycles. I think it's
Okay.
like the
Yeah.
last 5 minutes of each REM cycle. So you're supposed to have
Okay,
like
okay.
4 or 5 dreams a night
That's it.
on an 8-hour.
I do
Well,
like the dreams.
you go in and out of cycling, and you only dream when you're in REM sleep, which is only.
You ever had
know.
dreams where you feel like you're partaking in it? Like you know you're sleeping and
Yes.
dreaming, but you
Yes.
feel like you're
Yes.
navigating the dream?
Yes.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I don't I love
My
those.
buddy
Lucid
Brian can
dreaming.
do it like
Really?
on
On
purpose.
command.
Yeah.
Really?
Some people can. It's like lucid. I mean, it's
Lucid
called lucid
dreaming.
dreaming.
That's
you
awesome.
can accident
trick
your way into
yourself.
it.
Michael's LSD.
You can accident your way
yourself,
into
though.
it. Like you can. It's possible to just one time you're in a dream and you're like something's off, and then notice. But then you can train yourself to notice.
I want
and you can do
to.
it like
Well,
every
you
time.
just- you-
Really?
If
That's-
you
Yeah.
like draw a figure, something like on your hand, and then in the dream when you look down, it's not on your hand. Then
That
you know
sounds
that
like
you're
a
dreaming.
Twilight Zone
That's like
episode.
supposed
though,
to be the way that you
where
induce
eventually you
it.
keep
That's
yourself
cool.
in the dream forever.
Oh,
Right?
Be
Right, yeah,
beautiful.
that
that
kind of
sounds
sounds like
like-
you
that
trap
sounds like
yourself.
a
Your
Twilight
subconscious,
Zone
your
thing.
subconscious mind
Like
gets
it's,
out.
it's just better here.
Yo,
It's
my
just better here.
dream-
I'm just
Yeah,
gonna
I mean,
stay.
yeah.
Some of my dreams are dope. I wouldn't mind that. Except the dream when I was a child. I had an ongoing dream. Must have been like, well, time makes no sense anymore. But probably like 10 years of dreaming, and it was like very often I had this dream where my teeth would fall out,
Oh, I get that.
and I've had that dream hundreds and
means
hundreds of times.
something.
Yeah,
It-
it's stress.
It freaked me out, and like
Dude,
and
it
then
feels so real.
it feels so. And then I
I get up. I'm like,
yeah, and then I'm in my dream where I wake up in my dream thinking I'm awake in real life, and I'm like, oh my god, they're all gone. And then it makes it worse. And then you wake up, like you said, your mouth hurts. You're like,
yeah,
oh my
because you're
God.
probably
And
all
like,
night. You're
oh my god,
Yeah,
they're
you're
there.
clenching your teeth.
grinding or clenching.
Oh my,
Chest
it's the worst dream in the
so
world.
bad. I've had that a bunch. It feels like your mouth's like wired shut. and
Yeah,
you're
so,
twisting it.
certain weird things
And I
happen.
get it
Like,
so bad where like the teeth, I'm like clenching, and the teeth they don't like fall out. They like break into
oh, mine
into
do.
shards.
Mine no,
and I'm
mine
like
do.
like spitting out like bits of
Yeah,
teeth.
mine will
It's
be
so
like I have a
bad.
conversation
so
with you, and
bad.
I'm like, oh my
I don't
tooth's
think I ever
loose.
had one of those.
My
I've
tooth,
never had
oh,
that.
my tooth fell out, and then I'll be talking.
Oh,
Oh,
mine
no,
are like-
and then they just start falling.
I don't
What's-
remember ever
Oh,
having that.
oh my
Mine
god,
are
it's
like
the worst
violently
dream.
shattered.
I
Really?
usually
Yeah.
don't remember.
Oh
it.
my! So and I've had it hundreds of times. I gotta say.
Yeah, that one I think is like a stress dream because
Oh,
it's
I'm
just
very
you're clenching,
Right.
You're
you're
clenching
clenching
your
your
teeth,
teeth,
yeah.
and then like your
I'm very
subconscious
stressed
is
out,
all.
I guess.
Usually,
I don't like
It's
that.
the worst dream.
the only
Worst
dreams
dream.
I really remember like sleep paralysis. Like those
I remember all those.
happens to me all the time, and I
Yeah.
always remember it.
I get them bad.
the
I
worst.
get
Never had
bad
that.
sleep
That is the
paralysis.
worst.
What is that?
That's one that time.
What is that?
When you're
Real
like,
slows.
you're partly asleep so that your body can't move. But
Oh.
you're conscious so that you can look around your room, but
Yep.
you're still
Stuff's still
dreaming, so
going
it kinda
on.
like
You'll still
wow.
see shadowy figures.
I've
Yeah.
never had that.
And you'll hear
I don't
voices.
like that.
It's closer to
and you
hallucinating
can't move.
than sleeping.
Yeah. It's
Okay.
awful.
But your body can't move.
Yeah.
Because like when you're
I think they were
dreaming,
both abducted by aliens.
Yeah, seriously.
when you're dreaming, your body like obviously doesn't react to your dreams. It
Right.
knows that something's not going on. And like sleep paralysis is like in the mid ground where you kind of wake up, your body still thinks you're asleep, so you're fully paralyzed.
Yeah.
But you're like in your room or wherever you are, like awake, like your eyes are open,
Mhm.
and you're like I could be right here and I'm seeing all this stuff, but there would be like a shadowy figure in the corner. Or
Wow.
I'm hearing voices. A lot. I mean, I've
That's
had
weird.
some crazy
That's
ones.
freaky.
I've had
I
some
had to
crazy
start-
ones,
I had to start
and they're
just closing my eyes.
always negative.
Yeah.
Always
oh, yeah,
negative.
It's awful.
I don't know.
yeah.
I mean, I
That's
guess
like
it's
the
part
only
of
thing
the
I
thing.
remember.
I never have like dreams. It's kind of so weird to say all this. I never have dreams that are like sexy or hot or like you're a billionaire. I own everything. It's
I was
always
just talking about this.
they're
with somebody.
always
I've
weird.
never had.
They're always
always
sad,
weird.
depressing,
I don't know,
I
weird.
wouldn't say
Anybody?
that. I have good
Huh?
dreams sometimes.
does
but
anybody
yeah, I don't have
though?
anything.
That's what I'm wondering.
I don't
Does
have anything
anyone?
over the top. Like Brian, if he could,
Lucid dream.
whatever he does in his dreams, like that's what I'm saying. You would want to stay there forever. If
Yeah,
you
you
can
can like fly.
if you can make
and-
anything come true, like
be awesome.
I
right?
feel like
'Cause
you wouldn't be able
like
to
I said,
force
I have
yourself to
nice
stay,
dreams,
though.
good dreams
Yeah,
sometimes, but
normal.
like nothing over the top,
Right.
Right? That like you
Yeah.
wake up and you're like,
Yeah.
maybe lotto, maybe I hit lotto, maybe that's
That'd be
the
cool,
dream that
right?
you have, right?
You
But,
buy a mansion in Malibu and you're hanging out.
but if
like,
you could make your own dreams, man, I like that.
I like
Yeah.
that.
Well, it's
too.
like Inception. They
You
have
could
there's a group
try
of
it. Yeah,
people
you
in the
could try
movie.
and do the
There's a
thing.
group of people who like that's what they do. They
Yeah,
pretty
I still
much.
can't figure that movie out. Man.
Well, no, it has nothing to do with that. I mean, there's a group when they were like trying to find like the deepest, whatever, not stimulant, the opposite. What is it called? I don't know. They're trying to get like a strong downer because they got to go like 3 levels deeper, or whatever.
Right.
Yeah.
And they go to the basement of the guy's place, the chemist, and there's like 8 people just like strapped up, like on IVs, and like this is their real life to them. They come here and we strap them in, and they're like gone for hours.
Right.
For them, it even feels longer in the dream. You know, it feels like weeks every time they go to bed, and
Right.
it's like, but that's what they want to live in. It's like if you could make your own dream, if you got a rough life,
And you make
and you
your
can
own dreams.
fully make your own dream that you can fully live in.
You'd never come out. That's what I'm saying.
I would never
I
come
mean,
out.
Be trapped
Yeah,
in there
that-
forever.
Yeah, that's you think, not you think. Would you think that, like, not AI, but I feel like with the way gaming and stuff's evolving, in like 100 years, I feel like
Virtual
you'll be able to do that
reality?
without even having a dream. Virtual
Yeah,
reality.
Virtual
Yeah.
reality.
You could do
You'll
it
be able to
virtual
just-
reality.
But once they
You
start
know?
putting the implants,
Yeah.
Helmet
I'm
on,
sure
you'll
they
just
could give
like-
you any signal you want.
That'd be great.
Yeah, but that's crazy.
Right?
The
But then
thing
you
is,
know,
I
it's
wonder
like
how quickly people will get tired of it, though. That's always like
Being
that's always
happy?
My thing about VR.
I don't
Yeah,
know,
because
man.
think about it, like right now.
It's always going to be the junkies.
right now.
Right, there's gonna be the
there-
VR
of course,
junkies that,
of
you know,
course, there will always
It's
be
going to be like anything
exceptions.
else.
well, I don't know though. If you
But
get
The
sorry, you keep going.
idea, the going idea is that like everybody, because it's like your ideal life, like everybody's gonna want to do it. You wouldn't even
No.
like decorate your house. You get like one room for you to sit in, And so, like, to me, it's like, and how long until you
It's
get
going to be
bored?
like anything, man. Some
Yeah,
people are
some
going to
people,
accept
right?
it
That's
and
how
like
I
it, and
think.
some people are going to be like, I want to have nothing to do with
That's
that.
what I
I
think
want to live
too,
my
yeah.
real life.
I don't know, I think more people.
Might even be a religious
That would make
I think
time a
more-
lot better for people, though.
Because
Maybe.
VR?
even if
Maybe.
you
I would
look
enjoy time
now-
if I was in
even
VR.
If you look now,
I think more people than you think would do it. Would fully go.
even-
I'm gonna live in
even
VR.
if you look now, there's a lot of people for the past like 2 years or so saying like they're like want to decrease their screen time, right? They're like, oh, I don't want to look. You know what I mean? So like we had phones, what?
Yeah, because
But there's-
but they're
there's what
looking at
phones are
screen time
currently
where
doing,
right
like,
doesn't offer any.
just doom
but
scrolling.
Eventually,
Did I
eventually
really-
it all becomes the same.
Did I
Like,
really
No,
want
no,
to
I
decrease their
disagree, I
screen
disagree.
time, or are they just feeling pressured that people are saying you're spending too much time on
I don't know.
phone?
I'm just saying that.
But
Like
also-
in general,
say-
people
there's a-
spend too much time on their phone.
My point is, naturally, people started adverting themselves to using technology all the time. I have a feeling that you give VR 20 years, like past its prime.
I would
and it's gonna
so.
be
I don't know. I'm thinking 100. I'm thinking the
not
Neuralink
as
thing.
many people are
You're like,
using
hey, I got home at 6 o'clock. I'm gonna chip myself in, and you like
That's it.
it.
Go
get you know,
on a fake.
zoomed out to
Voyager.
Some, yeah, I
I
mean,
don't
you
touch
become
it.
Han
That's it.
Solo.
And then what is life, man?
I don't touch the.
No,
tech
but
implant.
It's got to
I
be
mean,
better
ba-
than what it is now.
well, it bears the question.
Working chores.
You guys hate your lives.
Well, it bear- but it-
it's working
But
chores.
it bears a question, right? No matter what. Okay, like if you have
Look
an
at what we
enjoyable
did
life.
today. Working chores all day.
Yeah, it's true. But if you have an enjoyable life and you're like, I want to live in the real world, fine. But I mean, think about there's millions of people who truly don't like their lives, and if they're like, I can
Yeah.
fully escape it, you know, I'll pay whatever. They get to harvest my organs, and I'm just a brain hooked up to a computer
And then what
for
is-
60 years.
What is reality?
I'm just
actually,
saying,
you know?
right? What is right? If it's that good, I'm saying it has to be that good. That's why
Yeah.
I'm saying 100 years. Like I don't think it's
Right.
at all in the near future. You know, and I think like people trying to whatever reduce their screen time. That's more like doom scrolling on Instagram.
Right.
Yeah.
Is like not.
So you're saying like,
that's
if you
not the same
actually
as what I'm
exist and
imagining.
live
Yeah.
in a-
Yeah.
You're
like
virtual
you're like I want to live as a
yeah.
cowboy.
So it's not a game. It's
Yeah,
like
no, you
no,
just
it's
live it.
virtual. It's
Right,
fully.
you're there.
literally-
You
I'm-
can, you can be
I'm leaning-
John
I'm-
Wayne or whatever.
Westworld.
I'm
I guess,
on.
Yeah,
You
right.
want to live as a cowboy?
Right.
Go to Westworld.
No, I'm gonna be in Fiji having a martini
Or that.
or
Yeah.
or Malibu or whatever.
But,
I mean, because if
but-
they can
but-
hook right
but-
up to your brain.
You know
but
what
do you have to-
separates?
You never come out of the virtual reality.
No, you can.
You can, I'm just saying.
I wouldn't.
I think
You're gonna
people
be more
would be okay
depressed when you
not.
come out
I
of it.
wouldn't. No, it's gonna be sad. Everybody's gonna be
That's
boring.
what I'm saying.
Well, I
You're gonna
guess-
be more
well, yeah.
depressed
Some
when you
people-
come
I
out
guess
of it.
some
then.
people just
You'll
wouldn't.
You
never
know,
want to be out of the
on a
virtual
side-
reality.
But I
Let's
guess
say you
some
don't have to,
people
right?
wouldn't.
Let's
Yeah.
say literally all it is I mean, I'm 100 years. Who knows about the technology?
I'll let you know.
But the way I'm imagining it is if it's a situation where it's like, hey, for all of your organs, right? We'll hook your brain up. All we do, it's like low energy. We hook your brain up to the simulation.
That's great.
Oh,
And
it
it
keeps you in a
runs
metabolic
for
state.
60 years, and then you die.
that's
You
beautiful.
never leave it. You
Okay,
can have. You can
okay.
bring
That's
to you.
beautiful.
You can.
What's the
You can bring.
That sounds great.
What do you mean? What's the sense? Because it's.
Well,
it's
eventually
like,
it just becomes
bears a
life,
question like, what
yeah.
does reality mean?
Yeah. Eventually,
You know?
it just becomes
Maybe
life.
Like, it
we're
could
living
even-
in that now.
Even if it's like, look, it's one thing to think about. Oh, I
Maybe
don't want
You
to.
guys aren't because you're miserable.
No,
I
Listen,
might
you,
be.
you know what separates you and your brother?
What?
Fellas, for you, Saturday. That's it. You're the same person. You both love to fucking work all day long. The only difference is you like a Saturday and Sunday off to do house chores, and he likes to go to work. Other than that, you're exactly the same. Work, 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 work,
True.
work.
It is true.
I'm not saying that. I'm saying what good is life if you're just getting strapped up to a machine and living life through the machine?
Well, that
What
was
does
the
life mean?
question
Like, what
of
does life mean?
reality,
That's
yeah.
that bears.
That was
Yeah.
the question
If
of,
you
like,
get to, if you're having a rough, like even if you're not having a rough life, even if you're having a normal life, and they're like,
just
yeah,
don't
you can
enjoy
keep
it.
doing that,
Or you could do this.
or you could, you know, we put the chip in your brain, and you can every day redecide what life you want to live that day. Be rich, be poor, do all like, you know what
so
I'm saying?
beautiful.
Like just the ability to say you're in a simulation now, but it's your
you
full, you have
want.
full reign, right?
You can be a prisoner. For you can go to work every
Yeah,
day.
I'll
for
do you one
12
better. I'll do you one better.
How
I'll
do you
do
know
one
you're
better.
not in a simulation right
That's
now?
what I
You
said.
guys are
I
just
don't.
miserable in your simulation.
Then
that-
restart.
then I-
Then restart mine.
That was my question. Was at-
You messed mine up.
Yeah, then it's
Change
not
it.
mine. I'm in somebody else's. This
was
is like
my,
Jeff Bezos' simulation that we're all in.
Yeah, exactly.
that was my question about at what point does it become like what is even reality? Because at a certain point, if everybody is living, or even like a large number of people are living in like this simulation, then it's just life at that point.
Yeah.
You know
I
what
mean, think about it like this. Okay, I get, and it seems like such an escape from real life, right? But what if this person comes to you and they say, okay, for all your organs, we're going to hook you up to a thing tomorrow, right? And you're like, but I love my family. I don't leave them. They're like, you'll have no idea. The second you're in,
They're
it'll
all
be
there.
this exact life to a T, except you'll be a billionaire. That's it.
I'm in.
And you won't know. Day 2, you get hooked up. And they're like, we program it in. It's a virtual. We
done.
have full access to your brain.
I understand what you're
We
saying.
forget
I
the
understand what you're
memories,
saying.
and you're just to you. It's just
But-
all you think
but
is you won the lottery
but
tomorrow.
Going in,
Yeah.
your decision is that you're effectively making yourself a vegetable, right?
No.
No.
No,
No.
because you are living in that's the whole point. Is that at a certain point when it gets
But you're not
too
living,
close,
right? Let's
You
be
are
clear.
living.
You're living.
You're living.
I get-
Everything's
you're saying
working.
there's a
lay-
base
you're laying
reality.
on a table, right?
Right.
You're laying on a table with the
get
virtual
that part of you.
headset
Yeah.
on,
Right.
and
So
that's
you
how
get to
live
be
it.
comfortable
and they're
as well.
sustaining you to keep you alive, so
No,
that
brain in a jar. Forget about
brain in a jar.
money.
Okay,
I'm
perfect.
saying
So-
that you
so-
can live
but
your
it-
whole
but
life in
don't-
this reality.
But you still have to make that decision to say, okay,
At some
I'm just
point,
gonna,
yeah.
right.
I would
I'm
do
just
it.
gonna lay here, and yes, I'll dream it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then your reality shifts if you don't know that
That's
you're in
real.
the simulation.
Yeah,
and
they're like
then
it's a-
you're
it'll be a
rich in the
memory.
I
simulation.
understand. I understand.
I would
what
do
you're
it
saying.
at a
Just think,
heartbeat.
Would you
Yeah. Hell yeah.
give up everything you have here?
Everything's
not
going to
giving
be in
anything
there.
up is what I'm
It's
trying
going
to
to
tell
be
you.
there.
You don't
Pretend
give
you have
anything
it.
up.
But
Theoretically,
Once you're in,
to
I guess it
you,
doesn't matter
matter.
anymore.
Yeah,
Yeah.
functionally, it
Right.
doesn't make a
I'm saying
difference.
if you're like, no, I really love my life. They're like, that's fine. Would you like $1 billion? You're like, yeah. They're like,
In there.
tomorrow
You'll
you'll
have $1
know
billion.
nothing. The real you will be hooked up to a computer chip somewhere.
You'll wake up
but
with
you'll
no
wake up and
idea.
think you won the lottery on
I
Saturday.
can't even fathom
Right.
that because my mind's ready to explode right now just thinking about it.
He's thinking about not going to work, and that upsets him.
No, I could work in my thing.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter.
They're not allowing that.
That would be.
Okay,
that
I
would
would get
work.
into your
That
reality
would-
and punch you out.
Oh man, that would grind my
Johnny-
gears.
Johnny
dude.
only likes the fact that I like to work when he's asking me to come up here and help him do
No,
something.
there's a
Like if I-
difference. No, there's a difference.
Then he
be-
loves that I like to
No,
work.
no. There's a difference between going to work and working a full time job and,
And doing
a-
something for
and,
Johnny.
No, and then doing chores. Like there are some chores I like to do. I
Name one.
don't want it. I just
Likes
I,
to wash
I,
his cars.
I do like to wash cars. I really do.
I like
Mine
cooking.
needs a wash.
And I don't mind. Like, see, when you come up to me, it's different. Like, yeah, it's work, but we're having a good time. We're laughing. We're having fun. We're
Oh,
taking
yeah.
breaks. We're doing stuff. Hopefully, we're having drinks. We're eating some. So it's it's more fun. Working is not
That's what I
fun.
do at work too.
Well, then no wonder
Good
why
for
you
you.
like work, Phil. Now we know why you like work. He must be getting wasted.
Oh, he's not driving the trucks.
Yeah, but time, man.
Yeah, I don't know. Who knows? It is. I mean, it's speeding up. I wonder. It's
It
so
is.
Well,
weird
it
to
is
think
real,
about too.
like because that's the whole relativity thing, right? That's like a proven.
Well, no.
Theory.
Wait,
Like,
so-
the whole thing is
relativity
a perception of
means-
time.
So when
That
you get
time
into your
is
70s, does it go
malleable,
even
I think,
faster?
technically.
Oh,
It's
fuck.
supposed to speed up and up and up.
Oh
That's
my
the whole,
god.
Yeah, that's
Just keep
like, that's
going
like the whole
faster and
relativity
faster.
thing is that it depends where you're standing.
Oh,
Your perception of time
man.
depends where you're
Yeah.
standing.
Oh, right. So there is a scientific basis for the perception of time actually changing in reality.
Right, it is
But I don't
real,
think
right.
none of us are. That's not what's happening to us.
Because
That
if
is
that's the
possible.
case, I'm
I mean,
going to
I would-
work
I would
the
say
rest
that's
of
a
my
pretty
life
good-
because that's the only way it slows it down.
That's right.
You know,
The
You gotta do
process-
something miserable.
I've got to be
You gotta
Relativity
do something
deals
that
with,
makes you
like-
miserable to slow life
Yep.
down.
Extreme speed.
That's another.
right. Well, it's extreme.
Whereas-
well, it's supposed to be. It kicked off subatomic.
Because I did this. I
Yeah,
did this a
well,
couple of
that's
years ago.
Whatever, right? So
I
it was
said-
like supposed to be a big, large scale or whatever.
Yeah.
But I feel like on a small scale, you can apply it some because that's the whole point of physics, right? You could apply it to anything.
Yeah, technically.
I
I mean, if
feel
you go
like
into like quantum,
the whole
then we have
thought-
no idea what's going on
Yeah.
down there. So.
The whole thought is that you apply relativity to human perception, and it really actually does become
Yeah, it could
that
be
for your
actually-
reality.
right,
it
for your
really
reality,
does
They're
it
getting
is.
very scientific.
I lost them.
I did.
I don't know where they are.
Well, he
Well,
said it
they
feels
talk
He's just
about
saying,
quantum
he's like,
physics,
we
I
call it
don't even
perception,
know.
right? And you mentioned it before. You're like, well, if you perceive it that way, that might as well be true.
Right, and
Like,
there's a
we can
scientific
say
basis
in the
for that.
world, if I'm watching you, run on a treadmill for 30 minutes versus watch TV for 30 minutes, and I have a clock watching you, I'm like, no, it was the exact same time for both.
Right.
But you're like, no, one was way longer, one was way shorter. But that is your real life.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it is, and he's just saying there's a scientific sort of basis for that actually.
on
it-
like a
it-
large, on a universe scale.
It like kind of is physically faster or slower.
right.
As anti what?
No, I'm just waiting for my brain to like melt down.
It's just
You
it's
were
like
the
I'm
not.
passing out trying
it's
to think
just-
about
it's-
this.
It's non-intuitive. It's
Wait,
non-intuitive.
wait.
Yeah, it's like an
I understand
observer
what you're
thing.
It's an observer thing.
I get it.
You had something you were going to say.
No, I just said I tried like a couple of years ago because I felt like life was going by too fast. I'm like, I got to slow my life down somehow.
What you do?
Well,
Yoga
I
or
tried to just
something.
plan things better and like enjoy them, be
That's
in the moment. See, I don't live in the moment.
Two mistakes
sometimes.
right there.
Why?
You planned and then you enjoyed. Time goes fast.
No, but it's like
Well, if
like
you're
I
always
said, you know,
counting
it does
down to
somewhat
something.
work. If you're always counting down to something, it does. No, because see, if you want something to come, it does feel like it's taking a long time to get there,
Yeah.
right? And things that
Yeah,
you,
No, but then
things
when
that
it
you don't
gets
want to
there-
come.
No, if
know.
you want something good to come, it takes forever. Something bad
Right.
comes quickly.
Right,
All the
exactly.
time.
Yeah.
All the time. Like again, that vacation day, oh my God, it's 2 weeks away. It's forever.
It's forever.
The end of the vacation, that was yesterday.
Yesterday.
Yeah.
Fast. Everything is fast.
All things.
It's I don't know. It's just it is a very strange thing. Time, like even the calendar, right? Whoever invented the calendar.
It's so
There's
confusing.
the quarter. What is it? A quarter year. Every 4 years we have the leap year because we.
Oh
have
yeah,
a-
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
So
yeah.
a quarter of a day,
Yes, quarter of a day a year, right?
right? And if they would have just divided the calendar evenly into 30 days per month,
Yeah.
we would be fine.
Right.
So who came up with the 31, 30?
There's
Well,
some-
it
there's
developed
some, like-
over time. I think was like the whole.
Yeah, there's some like moon thing
Right.
about it. I don't know, some astronomy thing. I
Yeah.
think is why
It's made up.
it's all stupid. But that's
Made up.
so
That-
stupid.
but like you
everything is
can't
made up. It's all
see,
fake.
People, specifically one of my aunts,
Are
has-
stupid?
I got no.
Oh,
I-
we had like a big argument.
You
we
said
had this huge
stupidly.
We had a big time argument.
No, I was
did?
saying that.
We had
Oh,
a
okay.
huge
We had a
time
huge
argument.
time argument where her stance was that time literally doesn't exist, and we've only created it
We did.
No,
from
we
like from
quantified it.
quantify. Right.
We didn't create.
Once we
Well-
go, hey, that's a half hour.
Right.
Then it's
Right.
a half hour.
And but we had this. I mean, for like hours.
Yeah, we sat.
We were arguing about this because I'm like,
literally.
but there is a passage of time that is objectively observed in our universe to
Right.
us, right? Like, sure, if you're an alien, maybe not, but we don't. We can't. I can't. None of us
So
can
if,
talk
if
about
Johnny in Johnny's life he turns minutes into hours,
Mm-hmm.
that would fix his problem,
Yeah.
right?
I
Yeah.
guess so.
that. Well, that's
Probably.
kind of the
You're like,
the
"Oh, look at
idea.
this.
Yeah.
I've been sitting
Your
here for 60
perception-
hours already.
It would
This
be
is
better.
great.
It would be better.
Right?
I need to
Perception of
change
But
it.
it's the
time.
same time.
Yeah, your perception of
Is it
time
though?
would probably
Even
still
for
change
you.
at the same rate.
That's what I'm thinking. It'd be the same rate.
No matter what you call
You have
it.
to put a watch on
it would
Mike
probably
and Johnny.
still-
Michael will have a good time. Johnny will have a miserable
Yeah.
time. We'll check their watches
But
at
it's
the
even.
end.
Well, no, but if you
Johnny,
do,
if
like,
we lose the
let's say,
minute-
Johnny,
easy
like-
way to think about it. Think about working hours and hangout time in minutes. So you got more of them, but it doesn't work like that. You know what I mean?
Like,
it just isn't how it's
I
cut
mean,
up.
if you want to test it, you can just ignore looking at the time for a day if you want to try it, and I
Absolutely.
guarantee you, to you, working will still feel long. Like
Oh,
it's
well,
not.
I mean, I've-
it's
I've
not
Even if you
kinda
never
done
look at
that
the watch, like
with
never look
looking-
at
I've
the
kinda
It has
done-
nothing to do
You
with
know-
knowing
you
the time or
intuitively
the
know what
passage
time
of
it is?
time.
No, not you know what time it is. Time will still
Time
go
just
slower.
passes.
No, I've done
Time
that.
is still
like,
passing.
Just
like on
passes.
weekends.
And work will still be slower.
Weekends, I don't really look at a clock, and when I do look at it, it's like 7 p.m. And I'm like, "Fuck! I thought it
Because
was
it
like
doesn't-
I thought it
3
was like
o'clock
11."
on Sunday, and it's time to start getting ready. for
Exactly,
Monday.
exactly.
12 o'clock.
But then at work, I'll think it's close to 6, and it's only 11.
Right, because time doesn't care about like the metric. that
Time
we gave
hates
it,
me.
You know. I,
It hates me,
I don't know. It's kept
and
you
I hate
around,
time
you know?
too.
Yeah, you guys got an antagonistic relationship.
Yeah,
I guess you know.
I
You really hate time.
I would kick the shit out of time if I had an opportunity. I'd punch it in the fucking
You
face.
just need enough mass, and I
I
think
mean, like I
you can-
said,
Oh
You
my
can
Time's
mess it
gonna
up
get
pretty
even with
bad.
Johnny. He's gonna wake up tomorrow. He's gonna be 72 years old.
Time's gonna be like, "You thought I was fucking with you then?
All right, yeah.
Here you go,
I got you.
motherfucker.
Here you go.
Yeah, you're done." I'm sorry, time.
Rosie's gonna walk into the house. She's gonna be 19 years old.
What
What happened? Oh, yeah, you hate me, huh?
Imagine that.
How you feel now?
Time, I'm sorry.
time
You know
skip.
how?
You're
no, not even
beautiful.
time
People
skip.
in coma.
Time.
No, what if every day you lived your life, but it was a random day in your life? You know, there's like an idea. It's like a physics and some level, whatever. Not get into all science of it, but pretty much that like it's possible that as we understand it, time doesn't really exist. We experience the passage of it, but it's actually all happening at the same time,
Right.
right? So like you're already 80.
Somewhere.
You know what I'm saying? Like it's not.
On
It's a
the
whole.
plane, you're
it's a whole
already
thing.
80, yeah.
But
I-
ignore that. Let's just say every day when you woke up,
random-
you just got dropped
A
into a
different-
random day in your life.
So
that would be crazy.
That's crazy. One of the things I thought, and I don't know why I thought this one day. I thought that, like, when you die and you like leave, like when you're no longer here, your life is still going. Like nothing's changed for you. We don't have you anymore, but you're still living a life, the same
Your
life you
consciousness
live,
goes on.
and you keep getting older and older. I don't know how old until it actually stops. But I have this weird theory, and I've started to believe that I'm
Not a
right.
weird theory.
Like you never die.
That's
Like,
actually a
That's a
scientific
theory.
theory.
Yeah.
Is it
Consci-
really?
That
Quantum
your consciousness
immortality.
goes on. Yeah.
I never heard. I never.
Yeah.
There's this thing. It's called quantum mortality
really?
because it has to do with like
Right.
the spin. You know, like like I don't know any of this to
Right.
a real degree, but like basically, you know, it can be quantum mechanics can be like one or the other, right? It's like binary,
Okay.
and it's the idea that it's always going to spin left or right. So it's like at the moment that you would like hypothetically die in some event, there's the you that dies. That in this universe, like there's a it's multiple. You know,
Right.
what do they call it?
Many worlds.
Many worlds theory.
Okay.
That like every time a decision is made or something could go two ways, it actually goes both ways.
Okay.
And it's observed.
There's,
so
like,
like
parallel
to-
universe.
you might be in the universe where you survive. Like you'll always be in the universe where you survived.
Right.
That's why it's the immortality. Everybody else might have one version, right? You're gonna live with a version of us
Right.
forever until a natural death or whatever. But we'll all have a version of you, you know, in some other
Yeah.
universe where you are dead.
I
Yeah.
And that's one thing when I heard that I was
I
like,
hope
that's
that's
too
real.
like
I
you
kind
know,
of believe it.
froofy. Well, no, what's really cool, what made me feel like maybe they're right is you ever hear sometimes in like our life in our universe shared one, some people survive the craziest things and other people will die of like
Right.
Yes.
like they'll like be walking, bump their head on the
Yeah.
the stove, like the doors open, they bump
Right.
it and they get like a massive aneurysm and die.
Right.
And then other people can fall out
50
of
Cent gets
planes.
shot
Yes.
7 times.
Legitimate
Yeah.
planes, right? Shot 7 times.
Right.
I mean, like George Watt, like all these things. And that's one of the commanders got shot like 8 times and survived. And you're like, maybe where the universe that we now currently share was there. They happened to be in the one that continued on the path in this universe.
Right. Right. Okay.
And the guy that normally you die falling out of a plane. We happen to be in the universe where that person lived.
Right.
And I was like, that's kind of.
I kind of feel like that might be true.
Well, I
It
wanna
is.
know-
That's like a scientific.
I want to know
Could go
what they
on.
do with
Scientific
that
one.
with quantum, like the quantum field theory.
They'll
in
never-
general,
You know
because
why I also
That's like, yeah,
I
that's
think
so
what made
hard,
me
right?
start
They have no
believing
idea
that
what they're
is there's so many people that, especially growing up, not that I knew them, but a lot of people that always like seem to have OD'd or like and yet they, I don't know. I feel like a lot of that. I don't know. I just kind of put that together. Like, yeah, they didn't die.
You didn't
like,
finish the sentence yet.
I because I don't know how I want to get to it really. But I just feel like there, especially even for me, I felt like there are times I should have died, or I should have been dead. But then here I am,
Oh, there's
So-
a universe where you did.
But you might be dead somewhere else.
Theoretically.
You're right.
That's what I'm
Another
saying.
universe you are.
Which is cool.
Theoretically,
In a
My
bunch
life
of
keeps
ways. No,
going.
that is
Universe
interesting.
where
It's
you
Not
did.
cool.
Might not be cool for somebody else
That's
Right,
true.
right,
in
right.
the
Well,
other
the,
universe.
the point is when you start thinking about it, that actually everything that
But it's
can
almost no fun
possibly happen
unless
is
you
happening.
have a consciousness to know that that's happening.
No, it's
Well,
great.
in the
No, it's like your life goes on, right?
That's
like
wonderful.
you
Yeah, for
don't
you,
know
it's
when.
not-
But
you don't get
know.
the death
you don't
moment.
know.
You don't know it.
Right. You don't know that it went on.
Like some people, you might actually have had a real near death, and you're like, "Ooh, this time
Yeah,
I made
yeah.
it." But there might be ones where like you didn't know that you were supposed to
Right.
die,
Right.
and you would
Yeah.
like in another world, a fridge fell on you from outer space,
Right.
You
But
know?
now with
that
this-
didn't happen in this one.
With this theory that you guys are talking about, does it eventually end? Because obviously there's no
No.
one that's like 300-400
I
years
think
old.
it only ends.
But they
No,
say,
I
they-
think
no,
with the
no, no.
quantum
So what
theory,
happened-
it
don't they
only
say
ends
your,
to like
your
entropy.
energy goes on forever, right?
So-
the
Well,
energy never
energy
dies. So they,
can't-
So that's
It gets
an
very
argument.
philosophical
it
more
does.
than
I
scientific.
understand.
So yeah, quantum physics gets like philosophical. So the thing about the energy is that it depends on the way that you look at humanity, and like maybe we can talk about this a
I
little
look
bit
at it
more
through my
like
eyes.
when we talk about evolution.
Does
but
that help?
like the whole thing is that there are people who actually don't believe that human consciousness is an energy. It's just they just say it's like a coincidence process, whatever.
Yeah, it's like a characteristic of another
Um,
thing, but it's not its own
People,
energy.
a lot of people believe that humans have like a soul, which is considered energy, and energy can't be destroyed. So they say it goes off somewhere else, but it doesn't end, Johnny. Like you can't just live forever, obviously.
I
But the
challenge
whole-
that.
Okay, but the whole point is that
I object. No.
every
It's just any-
it's like it's pretty
Challenge
much infinity.
you know Schrodinger's cat.
Yeah.
It's just that.
It's that.
It's the idea that there are always two paths. Like
Yeah.
before
That's
you
where it
before
started,
it's
actually.
observed,
That's where
it
many
is
worlds
alive
started.
and dead. Right? So many worlds are just saying I could have made
Yeah.
a left or a right. I'm driving down an intersection, I could have made a left or a right. In the quantum realm, you're doing both.
happens,
Right.
yeah.
But
Until you make a decision, but
Right.
that can't like
But my thought
it's
is,
too much.
is
The science part is
eventually,
way beyond me.
Right.
but-
eventually,
die
yourself,
in some
you would
capacity.
be, if you were always thinking you would die, would be 100, 200 years old. And
Right,
we
we'd
don't
have like 400-year-olds.
No,
right,
no,
we don't
until,
have that.
until you apply time to it, because you could be 10,000 years old,
Yeah,
I
it's
mean,
not.
I'm-
It's
and just
not,
rolling along in
uh,
this universe, right?
It's just you.
Hypothetically,
It's
yes.
just-
You're
it's
the only
just
one that
you
follows through.
Living like the theory
Okay.
is that there isn't like it's supposed to be infinite, right? So anything could have changed. So like theoretically, if you were to suggest, you actually don't know what the most different universe from ours is.
If only
you know
there
what
was
I mean?
a really,
like
really
there
smart
could be like a,
scientist guy to come on this thing and
Neil
explain this
deGrasse?
to us.
there could be. Well, he's not a physicist.
They
but
don't. They don't want to.
There would be.
I
I'm
don't
sure
think
he could
anybody
explain
knows-
something to us better than
I
we
don't look.
explain
I
it.
don't know any of this stuff, but they also would be the first people to say that they don't know
They
about
don't know
any.
about it anyway.
It's all just this kind of crazy
just a-
theory.
Well,
It is
I'll
a
say this:
philosophy.
I
if,
understand
for the
that.
most
if
part,
this
it's a
philosophy is
philosophy.
true, I like time a little more right this second.
It could be. It could be true.
You
It
could
does
be,
get
you could
very.
be 10,000
I-
years old. You could be
I-
a million years old right now, Johnny,
I think I am.
Well, no, he would know that now.
going down his
He
path
would have to then keep.
That's
aging,
why I keep
you
saying
know?
it to you, bitch.
because time is
No,
different.
but then there's like if you look at it as like as a person as like a closed system in the quantum realm,
Right.
it's like entropy will still eventually cause you to, move into disarray.
Right.
so to speak, which I guess would be
Look up entropy
natural
and
death.
disarray.
Well, no, it's,
no entropy. It's just that things move to chaos,
Guys
not
gotta use
order.
their big vocabulary.
vocab-
No, well, that's
Can't
the
break
only
it
word
down.
that means.
You two, your big vocabulary.
It's the word that means the thing.
we like words like ain't.
Everything, everything is moving towards chaos in the universe, not towards order. Things don't randomly order themselves.
yeah.
You know, things unorder themselves. If that makes sense.
The
That's
whole
it. So
point-
it's like
the whole point
if
is
you
that
look at
every
yourself
decision-
as like a universal whatever vehicle, it's like
Right.
at some point your cells themselves will, whatever, like become chaotic and not a like you're a structured. You're made of atoms, but you're a structure, which is order.
I'm a Johnny.
Right.
I don't know who this
Entropy is
Adam
coming
is.
The
for
more you
everything
talk
at all
about it, the more
time.
I just keep saying everything could be fake. You know what
Well,
I mean? It's
yeah,
like everything could be
well,
fake.
that might be
part
true.
of,
right?
Part of many worlds is like it's a very like nihilistic theory, like a philosophy.
Nihilistic.
Nihilistic. Look that up.
Look
You
that
just
one
gotta
up
read
too.
more.
You
God.
don't know what that means?
I know there's a guy named Niall.
Sorry,
I
you-
guess that means
You're,
he-
10,000
the
years old.
philosophy.
You should know all these words.
Nihilism.
in all
been around for
10,000
10,000
years of my age, I've been dyslexic and I've hated books.
You should have made some of these words
Well,
up.
His guy's name was not Niall.
It's the,
He
it's-
made the word
it's
up.
the
Nihilistic.
philosophy. It's the philosophy that like nothing matters because like life is.
Why is it called nihilistic?
Like,
That's
life is
such a
meaningless.
dumb word
It's
for
the
it.
It's
name
a
of it.
Nothing
I
else.
forget.
Nihilism, I
Oh,
don't know.
because there's something about the root.
It doesn't fit the
means,
word.
Like nothing.
I
what
feel
is
like
it?
nihilism sounds
nihilism
kinda
sounds pretty
negative.
Nihilism?
You don't think that sounds
I
negative?
guess if you
No.
had read it, like anybody.
I know a
else, you
Nihil,
would.
so it
Yeah.
sounds weird to say
Well, anyway, it's
nihilistic,
spelled with an H,
nihilism.
though. It's
Huh?
N-I-H-I-L-I-S-M.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so stupid.
anyway.
You would never be able to
Yeah,
spell
you
that.
would
No,
be able to.
I
Johnny's
was-
Egyptian.
I was
Anyway,
going
Nothing with a
N-I.
Nile.
I was going N-I-A-L.
To your point, there is a like there's a nihilistic approach, whether it's optimistic or not, just to say like, okay, well if everything that's happening now could have possibly happened and is currently happening, then whatever you do doesn't matter. 'cause There's
doesn't.
a universe out there.
It doesn't, so
that,
let's
you
just
know,
do it.
So that's optimistic nihilism.
do it.
That's
Everybody
what
get a
that
beer.
is.
Do
So
it
if you
or
just
not
say
do it. It doesn't matter.
Right.
It's 5 o'clock somewhere.
Yeah. Yeah,
Eh,
I mean, pretty much.
theoretically, 5 o'clock somewhere. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, technically. But I don't know.
Well,
How did
here
we get
doesn't
here from time?
Because we started talking about
This is time too.
this,
Everything we're talking
we
about is
started
time.
talking about
Even
his
we're not
theory.
talking about time. You know why?
always
Because
moving.
time is
It's
passing.
ticking.
It's his theory about living.
We can
Is
talk
it?
about
Right, right,
anything.
right.
We
And
could
it brought
talk
us to
about
many
puppies,
worlds.
and it still has to do with time. It's a great topic to talk about.
Yeah.
Going
He's in his own
forward.
corner. I gotta respect that, you know?
Time, you know,
It does. It's scary too.
Scary.
time passing.
Time.
Well, you can't get it back.
Yeah.
It's like the big
Time.
thing.
Well,
not
It's the
even,
only
like,
thing you
there's-
can't get back.
There's that, right? And then there's like it's just, you know,
You know,
aging is like weird.
the
But
whole
even,
thing.
I think more scary of like if you think like 500 years, how different things were 500 years ago,
And
how
what
different
they're-
they'll be.
it's gonna be
like,
Like
wild.
we'll-
100 years.
But you know what else is also
uh,
weird?
What?
Things haven't changed much over the years.
That's another thing that's
You know?
crazy.
Like,
I mean,
people
you got-
haven't.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
no, no,
People
no, no.
don't.
People are like the
No,
same
Obviously,
for
No,
like
I
100
agree.
years.
I will say
technology
that.
changes, but things haven't changed much.
Exactly. Like you look at like what we have like again, technology wise,
Right.
obviously from
course.
now to the 1800s
Mm-hmm.
or 17. But then you look at the world we live in with the technology we have, and it's basically the same damn world. Like
Yeah.
you
Yeah,
would
yeah.
think
Yeah.
like again,
People-
what,
Well, I think
People
it's
are the
because
same.
people are
People
the
are the
same.
same.
Right.
And they have been
like I
for
was
like
I thought we'd be in the
thousands of
Jetson
years.
years by
Yeah.
now,
Yeah.
living in the clouds, flying things.
Yeah.
We're not.
We haven't changed
Like
much.
it's
Yeah.
kind of
I mean,
wild.
every once in a while I'll see
like the way people deal with each other
Yeah.
and that
take,
type of stuff. People
take
have
a
not
car
changed.
for instance, like when it was invented and how silly it was. It's not much of a difference, really. It's a
No,
little
but-
fancy, but it's the same. Like it's
But
Well, they
any
nailed
mode
that
of
down pretty
transportation
early.
that
Did a
was
pretty good job with
invented
that.
over time, right, was the technology of that day.
right. And
Right?
it, no,
You know,
that's
only
another
certain
thing I
people
said.
had it at first, and then everybody
Right.
had it, and then so it's the same thing.
Yeah.
But people themselves have not changed
Yeah,
much.
it's kind of
No,
wild.
it's just
Certain
in
things are a
Dallas.
little
It's
bit
kinda
easier.
wild.
That's all. That's all technology really does.
I went to the
Makes-
eye doctor once.
Makes
and
certain
he's-
things a little bit easier.
The same
he
little
had,
kit.
He had the old machine, the kit.
Yeah, the
right?
kit.
The thing, and
Yep.
I'm like, did they ever update this stuff? He's
No.
like, let me tell you something, Mike.
the old stuff is the
He
best
said
stuff.
the human eye hasn't changed in over a million or whatever years.
Yeah,
Not a
yeah.
million, but you know what I'm
however
saying.
long, right?
He's like, what do we need to upgrade the equipment for? I'm like,
It's also
that
the
makes
thing,
sense. I
The
don't
other
think
thing they
anything
always
with that.
say is they don't make things like they used to back in the day.
But I'm just saying, people,
Well,
people, and the way
generally-
people interact and treat each other, and the way
Yeah.
we think, like our brains have not really developed, right? I
do
mean,
you
we
not-
we
like,
figured
no, they-
things
they-
out as
they
we
haven't.
went along,
Well-
but our brains
well,
have
there
not
is-
really updated that
There's
much.
some. I don't know if it's actually like a fact. I don't know if it's been studied. I remember reading about this like a long time ago, but they think that every like decade or every generation IQs go up on average. But like that doesn't make sense to me because I'm like, from how long? Because everybody would
Right.
be super geniuses,
Exactly.
or
Oh,
they
yeah.
all would have been idiots.
Yeah.
It's like I never believed it. I never looked into the
Because
No.
people
the thing
weren't
of it.
like nobody was stupid. Right?
No,
they
people were
just
people.
didn't have.
They didn't have what
They
we
They
have.
didn't have
No,
everything we
yeah,
had, so
right.
they had to figure it out as
Yeah,
they
the
went
people
along.
nowadays
But they
better be
weren't
smarter.
stupid.
Yeah.
They have
No,
the
if you
world in
took
their
knowledge
hands.
goes
if you
up.
took, I believe
You're not smarter. You have more knowledge.
you have
Exactly.
more
Knowledge
access,
goes up,
so you
yeah.
learn
Right.
more earlier. But they could
Exactly.
if you took somebody from I don't know, like Jesus' time, like 1 A.D. as as an infant, and brought them to our time and just raised them here, they would just grow up. They would have
They'd
no
be-
idea.
they'd
would
be
have
the
no
They
idea.
would be raised as a person. They would like not
Right.
be like
I think the
I'm
thought
a
is-
2,000 year ago baby. Like,
Right,
they have
right.
no idea that brains are the same.
I think that
Brains have been the same for like since Homo sapiens have been Homo sapiens. Like
Right.
not even
You take any,
not even our
any,
civilization.
You take any
Like as
baby
long as we
Right.
can go back.
right now, put them in a different situation.
They would
even
just
in
grow up
today's world,
in
they
that
would grow
thing.
up in
I
that thing.
think
Absolutely.
I think the thought is because IQ comes tricky because technically it's supposed to be like an inherent thing you're born with,
Yeah.
but people measure it differently. And so I think what actually happens.
Maybe that could have been that. I
is-
just read a thing.
No, but
a while
I'm
back.
saying I think what actually happens that like explains that is that we're more knowledgeable on on one end.
Yeah.
But also I just think that there's you could get information so much easier that like just from like a cognitive function point of view, like growing up always being able to get an
Yeah, but that
answer,
just wouldn't measure IQ.
kinda
Matt,
like,
people's
I'm
like,
saying they
I-
wouldn't use it to measure IQ, but I would say that has to be what they were talking about because there's no, you're right, if you take a baby from 180,
But I'm not even
you know
talking
what I
about IQ, right? Because IQ, like, yes, people can learn and people can be smarter. But I'm saying the way your brain functions, right?
yeah,
The people that, the way they used to use their brain, cavemen used to use their brain to figure out, how to, break open a nut or how to,
yeah.
our
It's
brain
about the
basically
same.
functions the same
Right.
way.
Yeah, it's about
Right?
the same.
It's like your brain, the brain hasn't changed much, is my point.
Yeah,
And the
it's
way
true.
people treat each other, so
Yeah.
yes, our technology gotten better because we've learned stuff as we gone along.
So that's
right,
the
but
thing
you could
is that-
take, like he said, you could take a 10,000-year-old baby,
and put
right.
them here.
put him here, and they'd be
There
like,
would be
okay,
no
I'm fine.
difference
They
at
would
all.
not know.
They wouldn't know. You
They'd
wouldn't
have
know
a little bit more
if you
fur
got
on their
gift-
body, but that's about it.
I think it's
right?
what do
Maybe.
you call it?
Not more than me.
It's also just indicative because of the fact that we pretty much when we develop new things, it really is just adding on to old things. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Yeah,
So like
constantly.
never at any point do we like change our way of thinking to be like, here's this brand new thing that we're all gonna work together on. It's like, they like built a car and then it hasn't really gotten
But
very
it's
far.
using the
but they're
same,
using the
right?
same
It's using the
thing.
same
They're
brain
not-
power.
Yeah,
right.
it's-
Yeah, there are smarter people, and so I see that.
Well, the software and hardware.
Right.
Right. The hardware hasn't changed
Right.
Right.
in a millennia. As long as people have been around, the software is updated every year. Pretty much, it's like the only.
Because you like start from
brains
a
are
landing
brains,
pad
and like
knowing all
that
these
to like.
things.
And I was just using the IQ as an example of I've heard whatever, but like IQ supposedly is supposed to be a measure of the hardware, not the software.
Yeah.
You can give it to
It's supposed to-
children.
of your,
You give it
like,
to
actual
4-year-olds who have
ability.
learned nothing, but it's like it's
Your like
creativity,
cognitive ability, pretty much. Yeah.
recognition, pattern recognition, that kind of stuff, which that hasn't, and I mean, not for IQs, just aggregate, that hasn't changed, at least observably, in humanity's existence.
Yeah, the highest
So the
IQ
software
ever,
stuff
I
you can
think, was
just,
from like a 6
whatever you give to them, they can grasp. It's like, it's one thing if you took a 30-year-old from 1,000 years ago, but that would be more shell shock. I think they'd adapt. People think they wouldn't. I mean, not physically, because
it would
biome and stuff
It
would
would be. Would you say shell shock?
yeah, like I feel like it'd be
would
more
be.
like,
Yeah.
oh my god, but
Yeah.
they would
Like they'd have
in
to
a
figure it
year,
out.
2
Like,
years,
you-
they'd
you-
be like
culture
they'd be
shock.
driving a car.
You'd be totally.
it's like
you'd
culture
be
shock.
totally
It's like
out of
culture shock.
sorts.
Yeah.
For a minute,
Yeah.
you'd be like, "What the heck is going on?"
Yeah.
But
But then after that, you'd figure it out though. I don't think that they're
no,
beyond.
because the brain works the same.
Right,
There's
right.
The capacity was still there in that brain.
Yeah.
So
To
all,
get what a
all
car
it is a
does.
matter of bringing that person up to speed and saying,
Yeah.
"Okay, yes, we know you were in a coma for 30,000 years, but
Yeah.
this is the way life is."
Yeah, because you also got to think.
And eventually they'd catch on.
Obviously there is
Look
definitely.
at the caveman, the Geico caveman.
He's doing great.
He's pretty
Perfectly
with it.
well adapted.
He's doing
He's got a
great.
girlfriend and everything.
There's like a tallying on and like adding on to all the technology and stuff. But also you got to think. I imagine from 1,000 years ago, let's say a 30-year-old, they knew stuff that we don't because we don't have to. But for them,
Right.
it was valuable software at their time, like reeds or
Well,
whatever.
it's
Like
plop-
there's a million things that
Plop
we don't
you
know.
in the middle of the Serengeti, you're not going to
yeah, you'd be
survive.
dead. Yeah,
You'd be
right.
dead in a
But there's
minute.
people who live there.
Right.
Can you use
So
an
it's like the same
application?
thing. And still,
they had to
1,000
be
years ago,
smart enough
there's
to
something
live
was
there,
going on.
right?
Yeah,
They had
yeah.
to know certain things to
Yeah.
live there. That's all they needed to
Yeah.
know. They didn't need to know how to work a phone.
I actually really
drive a
They
car.
used an abacus.
Yeah.
It's funny this came up because I actually
Not even
really
that.
dislike. I mean, it's not like
Lions?
a single person has ever like I've talked to
Gorillas.
about this necessarily, but I do feel like there's a general idea that people are getting smarter and people have been dumb for hundreds of years, and that annoys me. I'm like, look, it's one thing to come at it from like if you're going like political, people were meaner. Like, the misogyny was way worse 400 years ago.
Right.
And to that, I'm like, okay, like people believed in a whole different. The world was so different.
It
There
was
was
right.
such
It
a
was
different
culture
core belief, right?
Yeah.
But
Right.
to equate that to being dumb annoys
yeah.
me. When I'm like,
Yeah.
that has nothing to do with it. They were raised at a time when there was a different standard, like there was a different life, right? Beliefs, all that culturally was different. That doesn't mean they're stupid. Because the reason why it's like equated is because now people look at it like, if you still believe in this outdated thing, you're an idiot.
Right.
Not that
Yeah.
your beliefs are wrong.
Nah,
you're
that always
actually
annoyed me too.
dumb to believe in it. And I hate that.
Max
as
said
well.
that to me the other
I
day.
can't stand that argument.
What, you?
Called me stupid.
No, I called you. No, I said something was moron proof. I didn't even say that you were
See?
a moron. And
There
that
it
was
goes.
today.
He just said it today.
I
Three
said that
times.
was today.
Three
I didn't
times.
call you an idiot the other day. I said it was.
And he
But
doubled down on it several times.
anyway,
Called me a moron.
but even outside,
He's
of,
gonna
like,
be
the-
working for me and starting Tuesday. Let's see who's a moron then, bitch.
I didn't say it was. I said it was moron proof. Anyway, even outside of a political thing, it's just also people, and I don't know why this is like something people like who would hold that opinion would forget, but people from longer ago, the past in general, were just less educated. We knew less. Every year we find out more things
But-
about
but
the world.
They
You know
didn't
what I
know
mean?
less.
But
There
they
was
did,
less
like,
things
there
to
was-
know.
No, I'm
Yeah,
saying
like-
There was
I'm
just
saying
less
they knew
things to
less.
know.
I'm saying I know that. I'm saying not they knew less by their own fault. They knew less than somebody they knew less than somebody who would
Yes.
now.
Okay.
Because we find out new things about the world every year.
Yeah, like
But
they
it
were
doesn't
sacrificing
affect their
people to like sun
intelligence.
gods.
Right.
Yeah.
But they weren't dumb. They just didn't know.
They
They
didn't.
didn't. Science
yeah,
hadn't.
They didn't
Ca-
know
they
the
hadn't
things
caught up
that
to
we
science
knew.
yet.
Yeah.
But that doesn't make them dumb. Like
Right.
I don't like the idea of that
Yeah.
means they're all stupid. They've all been. Every human has been stupid
Right.
for 3,000 years until now. It's so nonsensical
Yeah, me
as to
too,
be.
yeah. I think that's
So
like,
those
you know,
people
I
used to
hate
be
that.
able to
It's
get
annoying.
around without maps.
They weren't stupid. They realized that if you sacrifice a person, the sun comes out. Or the rain
Absolutely.
comes, or whatever you needed.
Absolutely.
And if that worked once, it's
It's a
going to work
it's a
again.
ritual.
Now we
It's a
sacrifice-
And
ritual,
eventually they
and it's-
figured it
Yeah.
out.
It's a
No, I mean
tradition,
now we
like, it's
sacrifice
not-
our life. Go to work all day.
So
I mean, we
happy.
do like there's religious rituals
Yeah.
You know.
that happen today. Obviously, nobody's really killed.
Right.
Some people might be, whatever. But most people,
Deep in the heart of the Vatican.
I-
most people aren't like killing people at church. You know what I mean? But it's the same. Functionally, it's the same thing. You pray to God for a night. Hey, I want this, I want that, whatever. Not how you're supposed to pray to God. You know what I mean? But
I don't pray to them.
Honestly, our problem is we think we're at the apex of intelligence now, that we know everything.
that is
That's
the problem.
that
That
we're
is.
having.
That is.
Yeah.
Everybody thinks they know everything.
we do
and
know
this,
more
This
than
is
we-
right and this is wrong.
We know
there's-
more than we ever did
You
right
don't
now.
know
So
that.
it's just like an
You
ego.
don't know if sacrificing a person doesn't help the weather.
I mean,
you
I
don't
get-
know that. You
I
can't
get-
prove
I
that.
get
Let's
it.
try.
I mean,
You can't prove
Matt,
it.
on the table right now.
Because we stopped doing it doesn't
I
mean
wa-
it doesn't
like,
work.
I feel like there's a pretty good
I want a
amount of
good
evidence.
week. I want a nice weekend on the table. Let's go.
I feel like there's a pretty good
It's
amount
always
of
the,
evidence
you're
against
always
it. I
supposed to
don't know.
sacrifice the young virgin.
But
Got him. Got him.
what's it called?
You guys are messed up.
No, I feel like
You can cut that.
you could say
No.
No, leave it in.
You're lucky if it gets edited.
No, you're right. We do know more.
Well, we know, of course, we
Like,
you
like
could
on
just say we
aggregate
know
as a
the
species,
most.
I guess.
We know
there's
the
more
most
science.
we ever have before.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
that's the way it's supposed to work anyway.
It should be. You should
and
learn.
so
You
people
should
get
learn
an
as you go
ego,
along.
but people get an ego because of it. They're like, oh,
It's such
people
an
used to-
unearned-
They like
It
read
is.
things from history, and they're like, oh, of course they thought that because they didn't know about all this stuff. And it's like, but
But
they
they
didn't
didn't.
have like you have to understand
But they did
context.
the
of
But the
whole
knowledge
point of
wasn't
reading
there
it.
for them to
did
learn,
the
and they
best
didn't, and they
could
chose
with
not
they
to do
had.
it.
Right.
Right? And as it went on, they learned.
Right.
They stopped
Right.
sacrificing people. Some places they
Yeah.
still
We need
do.
to do that.
Sacrifice
Yeah.
somebody?
I
You
just
don't even believe in God.
not for God. I just think we need. If we start sacrificing, the people will be much nicer. I
You know,
John-
nowadays
Johnny's
with
Egyptian. He had multiple gods.
I did.
nowadays with like the internet and stuff, I bet you can find people who be like, just sacrifice me. Like that are There's
Right.
people who are
Hates his life.
Just the
There's
fresh.
people who are.
I
what's it
hate Monday
called?
through Friday.
If we told Johnny we could
Like,
kill him and get
I don't know
365 days of sun for us, he would do it for us.
I would probably. 'Cause I love you guys.
He's a good guy.
Well, if you
I'm
die, you'll
very
never
good.
have to work.
I remember learning about
That's
this.
what's good,
You
right?
guys remember a couple years ago, Army Hammer? He's an actor.
That was so
Yeah.
long ago.
He was like a apparently
Feels
he's
like
a-
yesterday.
apparently he's like a cannibal.
Yeah.
But apparently, again, there's people who like
You say
consent-
cannibal?
Cannibal. Who like consent to being eaten.
Oh,
like
I've
it's
heard
part of
about
their
this.
thing
I've heard of that.
That
to
they're,
be
they're
eaten.
okay to be
And they're like okay it. So I'm like, you can find people to sacrifice.
No,
Joe Biden's
if
uncle
you
was eaten
want
by
to.
cannibals.
I think the
Oh, you didn't hear that story?
Are you seeing? Is that a real one?
That was a story he told.
I didn't hear that one.
that's weird.
Where?
You didn't
Where
hear
was
that
he?
either?
I didn't-
Are
I
you
don't really-
kidding
Where
me?
did he get eaten by cannibals?
I don't really check the news
During
all
like
often.
World War II or something. He claimed his uncle was
what?
shot down in a plane in the Pacific and there was cannibals on the island. That's why they never recovered his body.
That's insane.
Completely untrue story.
That is wild.
It just happened like 2 weeks ago.
That's
You're gonna have to read the story.
It's pretty fun. Cannibals. That's not a good way to go.
I guess nobody felt like talking about it. I don't know. I mean,
It was crazy. It was the craziest thing.
Cannibals would not be a good way to go.
well, not for nothing. It was probably,
I'd rather-
probably the crash that killed them, not the
Well, yeah.
cannibal. Cannibals
well,
just ate him.
Either way, not a good way to go. I'd rather be the
Sacrifice.
yeah, like the Mayan one though, or Aztec or whatever. Like they just stab you in the heart or whatever, and then chuck you down the steps. It's
Yeah.
pretty cool.
I mean,
You know?
I, feel
I like it's
I feel like I would.
at least it's like it's very symbolic.
in any capacity.
No, I wouldn't want to be, but I'm saying it's better than getting attacked by cannibals.
A lot of cannibals for real in that part of
No,
the
I didn't get the whole video.
What a clip! A lot of
It
cannibals
has
for
the
real.
names of all the Scrantonians who died in World War II etched into a granite wall. Because I wanted to see where my Uncle Bosie Ambrose J. Finnegan, where his name was etched. He flew those single-engine planes as reconnaissance over war zones. And he got shot down in New Guinea. And they never found the body because there used to be there were a lot of cannibals for real in that part of New Guinea.
Cannibals for
well,
real.
Hey, him and Amelia
Yeah,
Earhart.
rest
you
in
know.
peace, I guess. I don't know. I mean,
No, he wasn't eaten by cannibals. The best the people can tell.
Who knows?
He
doesn't
went-
make a
he
difference.
went
to
down
me.
with the plane.
It was like
Oh, okay.
a long
Well, that's
time
good.
ago.
He
I
went
guess.
down with the
Doesn't
plane.
really-
He wasn't eaten by cannibals.
That's good. That's
Well, I
good.
figured he went down with the plane and then was eaten by cannibals.
No, no.
You don't have to be
I
eaten
think that was
alive.
the case.
Yeah, right.
Like,
right, right.
Anyway, speaking of time,
We're out of it.
we're out
Yeah.
of time.
Although we did lose like 10 minutes, but still.
Yeah, it's fine.
That's perfect.
We're around wrap up anyway. Any closing thoughts?
Yeah.
Any closing
not really.
thoughts?
I mean,
This went really quickly.
This one quick. Really fast. Really fast.
Always does. Always does.
Always fast.
Next time we'll do something miserable and maybe it'll feel like it's longer.
well,
Until then,
Stay angry.